Welcome to NetWitness 12.4 New Features Training. In this video, we will discuss Meta Export Utility to export the NetWitness generated metas to any other third-party applications. This utility is added in NetWitness version 12.4 for network customers only. Here, the administrators can integrate NetWitness with other products by exporting the NetWitness metas with the help of Meta Export Utility. Internally, the Meta Export Utility uses the log/export connector and the log/syslog output plugin to route the metas, all in a continuous and streaming fashion, to the required destinations. This diagram illustrates the complete workflow of the Meta Export Utility process. Initially, the log/export connector will aggregate the metas from the decoder. Log/ offers administrators the flexibility to filter metas or sessions through the use of a filter plugin. Finally, the log/syslog output plugin efficiently forwards the metas to the configured third-party destinations. In the beginning, administrators need to install the Meta Export Utility on a packet decoder using the yum install rsa-nw Meta Export Utility command. Internally, the utility will install the log/OSS version and the log/export connector plugin, and also the log/syslog output plugin to export the metas. After completing the Meta Export Utility installation, administrators must configure the log/keystore to store the decoder password. Additionally, they need to set up the log/meta export base configuration file located in etc log/conference d meta export to aggregate and process the metas. Let's install the Meta Export Utility on our decoder and understand its functionalities. Run yum install rsa-nw Meta Export Utility. This command will install Meta Export Utility on the packet decoder. After successfully installing the Meta Export Utility, navigate to the Configure log/keystore section in the Meta Export Configuration Guide, and run the following commands to create the log/keystore, and add the decoder password to the key. Give permission to the log/ file by running this command. Then, restart the log/ service by running systemctl restart log/.service command. And run the log/keystore create command to create log/keystore inside etc log/ folder. Also, run the log/keystore add command to add the key inside log/keystore file. Enter the decoder password and press enter. And run the log/keystore list command to make sure that the key got generated inside the log/keystore. Now navigate to etc log/conf d meta export and open the base configuration file, which is Meta Export Pipeline Name Conf. Here is the base configuration file, which consists of 3 sections: the input section and the filter section. And finally the output section. In the input section, it is essential to assign a unique name to the log-meta export pipeline name, and specify the decoder IP address to the host field, and also provide the decoder username. In order to access the decoder, and for the password field, the administrators have to give the log-generated keyname. Remaining fields will also grant access to additional functionalities. The filter configuration allows the administrators to selectively filter or drop entire sessions or entire events based on some conditional logic. To process incoming metas in the third-party applications, administrators must establish a syslog receiver on the third-party application side. In the log-syslog output plugin, they need to provide the IP address of the third-party application where the syslog receiver is configured. 2 files have been already configured. One to send metas to Palo Alto Cortex XOR, and another one to send the metas to the syslog receiver hosted on a Windows box. In this configuration file, I have given the required credentials here. Then I have configured this file to send the metas to the syslog receiver configured inside our Windows box. This is the IP address of the syslog receiver. Here we can clearly see that we are getting the metas from the NetWitness. Now I will be adding a filter to aggregate only a meta name, called payload, from the decoder. We can achieve this by including the meta name payload inside the field name called meta include, and I will be saving the configuration file. Now we can see only payload meta is getting transmitted to the receiver. Similarly, in the other configuration file, I have configured the file to send the metas to the Palo Alto Cortex. This is the Palo Alto Cortex platform. Here, the administrators can set up the syslog v2 integration instance to consume the incoming metas. Analysts can go to Incidents tab in the left-hand side to view the incoming metas from NetWitness. Here are some of the reference links for the meta export feature. Thank you.